So I've been going to the library a lot lately because I'm in a reading slump. I'm trying to find what I want to read since it doesn't seem to be something on my shelves, and the library is free. Hey everyone, welcome back to Reading Sprints and Chai Sips. I am your girl, Sasha Bonet, and I have water, no chai because it's hot as hell in Georgia. But I have been going to the library a lot because I am in a reading slump and I want to read. That's the thing, I want to read. Some people that get slumped do not or are not feeling reading at all. That's different from me. I'm not gravitating towards anything worth reading right now. Or at least that's how I see them. So it's not the books on my shelves. I'm usually 90%, let's say 85%, a romance reader. That's not catching me. I like an array of books, an array of genres, an array of authors in different, ways. But nothing has been getting to me. But I notice that right now I am craving thrillers and horrors and mysteries more than I have ever done in a while. And I think it's because it gets my heart pumping, it gets my heart racing if it's good. So I've been going to the library and just getting books from there that I think will, have my heart racing, have me wanting to read more from the author, something that'll help me climb out of the slump. Now, mind you, I have been climbing out of my slump slowly but surely, reading a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So let's get into the books I recently got from the library. And I'm not going to tell you if I'm going to read them in this video, but they're here. This is a read whatever you want to read from the library stack kind of video. So let's get into it. So I got 2 Shirley Jackson books. We Have Always Lived in the Castle and The Haunting of Hill House. I'm not going to be reading these in this video because I have a Shirley Jackson video that's coming up. Stay tuned for that. Haunting of Hill House. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, ever since I watched The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. One of the greatest shows. Mike Flanagan is a great director when it comes to emotional horror. So I wanted to know the canon, right? I wanted to get into this. And this copy is actually gorgeous. And I was saying to Between Paperback Worlds, Karen, if this book turns out to be as good as I think it might be, then I am going to run and get this. I want this exact copy though. I want this format of this book. But yeah, so these won't be read in this video. Now, Wayward Witch by Zoraida Cordova. This is the 3rd book in a trilogy, YA, which is from Brooklyn. This also will not be read for this video for the simple fact of this could be in another video, a serial unfinisher of series video series, which this is one of those series that I need to finish in order to not be a serial unfinisher of series. So this probably won't be read for this video. It could be, but it probably won't be. Next up is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. I have started this, and last night I fell asleep listening to the audiobook because this is an audio book. I'm gonna show you the audio player. This is the audio player. This is how this comes. Isn't this cute? I think these are so doggone cute. And I got this from the library. And it only goes up to 2 speed, but it takes a battery here and it has all the buttons here. The speed is there if you want to slow it down, the power, and it has a screen. This is the cutest thing I think I've seen in a long time. And when she opened it for me, I said, oh my God, that's so cute. So I've already started to listen to this, but I have to rewind. I have to go back a little bit because like I said, I fell asleep listening to the audio and I need to replace the battery. So I'm going to do that. So this will definitely be in this video. Next is My Heart is a Chainsaw. Again, the little audio player. I will be reading this in this video. Or let's hope I get to reading this in this video because I really do want to read this. This will be my first Stephen Graham Jones book that I'm listening to on audio or reading, period. So let's hope I can get to it. For the month of May, Between Friends and Lovers by Shirlene Obi. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. This I'm reading for Kenya's Black Romance Book Club, which is Lily Reads on YouTube. So Kenya runs that book club, and this I will be reading for her book club. Then we have Beautiful Assassin and Beautiful Assassin Part 2, Revelations, and these are from Stephanie Nicole Norris, who has one of my favorite indie romance series. I own like 16 books in that series. So I decided to go and get these, which I'm thinking I will be reading in this video. But after I read these in this video, I don't think this series is just these. So the remaining books in that series will probably roll over into a serial and finisher series because, as you can see, I don't know how to stop starting series. Last but not least is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clewer. Hope I'm saying his name correctly as well. But this has been, taking YouTube and all the book streets by storm. So I said, let me get my hands on it. It's very hard to get my hands on. As you can see, it is only a 7-day loan. It is brand new. And at my library, when something is new or, they just got it, whether it's been out for a year or not, but if they've just got it, they're always going to be 7-day loans so that everybody gets a chance to get their hands on the book that everybody seems to want. So I got my hands on it and I want to read it for this video. I will be reading this, I believe, by eye. So physically, no audiobook. I like to read books with audio just because of the immersive experience. So those are the books that could possibly be read for this video. Again, I am in a reading slump, so mood reading, even though I am a mood reader naturally, but mood reading is definitely key when you're in a slump. No forced reading here. So stay tuned and we'll get into it. So here's an update. I finished Our Wives Under the Sea. I'm not going to continue to hold this up. I'll just put the picture up so you can see it while I'm talking about it. I finished it. I told you in our intro that I finished that I started Our Wives Under the Sea. I have finished it. I was up till about 1:30 a.m. this morning finishing that book for reasons undisclosed. But I am going to give it a 3.5. And here's the reason why. At first, up until about 50%, I was kind of wondering, what is all of this for? Like the point of the book. And by the end, I got, I guess, what I think the point is. But also, there is a scene in this book where I believe it's Mary is talking about something that she read in the paper about something, like I'm getting goosebumps right now because I'm thinking about the imagery that it gave me in my head. It made me, if you read this book, once you get to the octopus story that Mary read in the newspaper, if you know, you know, physically almost made me ill. Almost made me sick. It was disgusting. I don't like things like that. Like my skin is crawling right now just thinking about it. It was ugh. But it only happened once because I said if it happens again, I'm going to have to DNF because my body is just rejecting that kind of stuff. But it didn't happen again, thank goodness. But in Under Our Wives Under the Sea, we are following Leah more than Mary more than Leah, but it's told in two POVs, Leah and Mary. At the beginning of this book is Leah has just come back from, or is about to come back from a voyage. She is like a marine biologist or something along those lines. Don't get me to lying. It was very scientific. I don't know about it. The ocean is something I just don't mess with. But she's just come back and she's not the same. And Leah is trying to rectify this because maybe, she just needs time. But as the story progresses, you realize that Leah is becoming more and more unlike herself. There's things being left in the bathtub. She's drinking water. She's not eating. And Mary is trying to figure out, what can I do in this situation where my wife has come back and she's just not who she was. And I know it's because of this dive that they just recently took. And in Leah's POV, she's recounting her dive, the dive that went wrong. And what I can say after all of that is I can see the metaphorical representation for grief, for loss, for letting something go, releasing it like water through your fingers, releasing pain, releasing grief, releasing loved ones if they pass, metaphorically going through a relationship and changing, right? The person is not who they were yesterday, let alone a week ago, a month ago, years before, all of that. But it's getting a 3.5 because there were just some things that I didn't get answers to. There are also some things that didn't make sense. Like why she didn't call the cops? Why she didn't call somebody? Why she didn't take that lady to a hospital? Who were the company that Leah and everybody worked for? Because they seemed suspicious. It's just were some, and not every book has answers, right? You're not going to get answers in every book. Some books are left open-ended. What did they find, if they did find anything at the bottom of the sea? All of those things were left open-ended, and I didn't like that. Because for all the eerie and creepiness of this book, it didn't give me anything. I was kind of left just empty. So a 3.5 is where I'm going to leave it. Do I think I'll be reading again from this author? Probably. It's not like, she's not like, if this is her lyrical horror lyrical, literary horror fiction, because this was nominated in, I think, 2022 for horror and debut. So I think I'll check her out again. I think so. So also, I read the first chapter in We Used to Live Here. I'm reading this by and I will be getting to this. This is my main priority because it's due at the end of the week. Unless I renew it, and I haven't renewed it yet. So We Used to Live Here. I just read the first chapter, and in the first chapter, we have also, Our Wives Under the Sea is sapphic. We Used to Live Here, it's also sapphic. So our main character, what is her name? We meet her, Eve and Charlie have just recently bought this house, and Charlie is away. This is the first chapter. Charlie is away, and this family shows up on their doorstep saying, hey, we used to live here. The father says, I grew up here and I just wanted to show my kids about this house that their dad grew up in. And Eve is grappling with, do I let them in? Do I not let them in? They seem good, well enough. But then she's noticing, okay, where's their car? Why is his coat a little dirty? Not dirty, but it has a speck of dirt on it. And she's like, if he was driving, where did dirt come from? The woods are there, but no car is there. So she's grappling with, should she let them in? And at the last minute, she says, wait, you just said it's for 15 minutes, right? Okay. So that's where that chapter ended. And I think this is going to be entertaining for me because I open the book, right? And there is this kind of like map. It says old house map. And it gives instructions for doing things throughout the house that'll change the aspect ratio of the house. So the house is not exactly what it appears to be. It reminds me of, is it Rose Matter? Right? I think that's it. Or whatever that Stephen King book is. I can't remember what it's called. But it reminds me of that. The house gets longer, it gets bigger, the staircases are in different spaces. That's what this gives me, even though it seems like Eve has not experienced that with her girlfriend Charlie as of yet. But from the map in the front of the book, without reading anything, you can tell that that's exactly what this house is going to be. So I think I'm going to enjoy this. However, I have a stand that I want to put together for my printer, because my printer has been on the floor for the longest time. It used to be on the shelf, on one of these shelves, when these shelves were over there on the other side of the room. But now it's on the floor because I needed more space for my books, right? So I bought a stand that I'm going to build, and yeah, we'll get into doing that now. So I am in the parking lot of there's somebody walking past. Hold on, because they're all looking at me like I'm crazy. But anyway, I just got out of the VA for some things I'll probably tell you about or not. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I'll put the camera lower. This lady she looked like she's done with the day. But yeah, I'm outside of the Barnes & Noble. And I recently got a message from them, an email saying, hey, your subscription or whatever, your membership with us will be done in like June or July. And it's on auto renewal for like $25 or whatever. That's not a lot of money in a year. $25 for a membership card or whatever is not a lot. But I realized also when I got that message, I do not go to Barnes & Noble enough to pay $25 a year, if that makes sense. So another car is pulling in. Okay. So I am going in Barnes & Noble now to see if there's anything I want to buy, so that I can make use of this $25 membership that I have. And I'm going to take you all along. Mother's Day is coming up. I can chalk it up to Mother's Day gifts or whatever. This is an unflattering angle, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I'm going to chalk this up to, if I buy anything, Mother's Day books for myself. Mother's Day gift featuring books. Let's see if I can get in here and actually film in public. Y'all, I've been in the house for a while, a long periodically time. It's been a while since I got back in the house. I left Barnes and Noble. I went to get something to eat. I had to go to the library. I'm losing my voice. Yeah, and then I came home. Also, I had picked up an aardvark package out of my mailbox, which was great. Um, I'll show you that later. I'm not even in the mood for that, but I have the Barnes and Noble books here. So let me show you what I got. The bag is over there. But I picked up The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. Um, yeah, I'm in my horror era. I want horror, thriller, mystery so much, but is this scary? I'll find out. Next is Cynthia Murphy, Last One to Die, A Supernatural Terror Fest. I read one other book by this author, and I'll put it up on the screen so that you can see it because I enjoyed it. It was YA paranormal horror, and it was good. I picked up Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. Everyone that has read this one and the other one, I can't think of the name, but I'll again put it on the screen so you can see it, says that these are some of her best books, and I have yet to read them. Now I have this one, so I can get to reading this one and, rounding out my reading of Tiffany D. Jackson because I actually do enjoy her work. So I recently read Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, and it was amazing. It was good. And I love books written in verse, and he did that with A Long Way Down, and I'm going to mark my words, I probably won't remember, but I will be getting the graphic novel for A Long Way Down. I don't care what nobody says. But in the video for A Long Way Down, the video for A Long Way Down was I didn't read enough Black male authors. So here we go again with Jason Reynolds with 24 Seconds From Now. It is a romance. It is a love, in bold letters, love story. And I cannot wait to read it because he seems like a very, very good author. Next, we have Naima Simone, Church Girl. I heard it's very good. And I can't wait to read it. I love this cover. This cover is so cutesy. I love it. I haven't read anything from Naima Simone, so we'll see how that turns out. So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. It had orange sprayed edges. I didn't pay extra for that or anything. This book was literally $12.99, a normal paperback price. But I've seen this book with so many, not so many different covers, but with this one cover in particular, and I never realized that it was this book. Like they are the same exact book, just with different covers. I actually like this one better. But yeah, YA fantasy. A dragon took her sister. She'll set the world on fire to bring her back. You guys, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I still have some schoolwork to do before I go to bed because I need to go to bed. But Kika Hatsapalu, Hearts That Cut. This is the sequel to The Threads That Bind. And I like The Threads That Bind, so I can't wait to read this one. Yeah, this is I hope this one is as good as the first one because I give the first one a 4-star. The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I've been seeing everyone say this is good. His mistress is dead. His wife is his only hope. I haven't even read it yet, but I will tell you this. If I was a lawyer and my husband was cheating on me for 2 years, unless they're fingering me for the crime, you on your own, buddy. You are dead on your own. Literally, because your mistress is dead. And I'm leaving you. But we'll see. Since I'm here, let me show you the Aardvark books. The box is over there. But The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I've never read a book by Stuart Turton, and I can't wait to read this one. It sounds interesting. Yeah, we'll see. And then these two, The Tainted Cup and A Drop of Corruption, both by Robert Jackson Bennett. And there's a third one that's supposed to come out this year or next year. I can't remember what I read about it, but fantasy. Everyone's talking about this. I haven't heard anything about this, but everyone's talking about this. So we'll see how good this really is. Back to reading. So, y'all, I regret to say My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones is a chop for me. I DNF this, and I don't even know how far into it. I want to say I was on chapter 14. And y'all might be saying, well, that seems like close to the end because there's only, well, according to this audio player, 17 chapters. But when it said chapter 14, I was about to go into chapter 14. The time for that chapter was like 2 hours. And I said, absolutely not. I can't. I can't do it no more. So let me tell you what I know about this and what started to irritate me. This book opens up really spookily. It's really good. It starts off where these two Dutch, I think they're teenagers, but higher up teenagers, like 20-ish, are visiting America, Idaho, where this is set from. I think they're Dutch, so from across the pond somewhere. And something spooky happens to them while they're over there kind of trying to not skinny dip in the dark, but kind of skinny dipping in the dark. And they disappear. Nothing is really said as to what happened to them, but there's lights flickering, there's things moving. And I'm like, okay, this is giving spooky. Then for the next however many pages, however many hours, we are stuck in the head of Jade, who is 17 in high school. She runs away often. She is, according to this book, half Blackfoot Native American. The word Indian is used so much in this book. But also, she is infatuated with slashers. Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Scream, you name it, she references it. Horror movies and slashers galore. She says this is what life is like. If this was a movie, this would be the moment when Freddy does this, the final girl does, and it gets to be monotonous. It gets to be boring, monotonous, repetitive. She's annoying. Like, I don't like, she's annoying, but she's not insufferable. But her always with these movies is insufferable. But her as a character herself, to me, is not a bad character. It's the writing. It's how long it takes to get to the point. And I guess I was almost there. I was almost there with finishing this book, but I just couldn't. So I don't know what happens. I don't know. In my opinion, it's always because I know she shows up in the sequel, so Jade doesn't die. So there wasn't no killing. Again, there is killing, there is murders, there's stuff going on, but we are stuck in Jade's head. And if we're stuck in Jade's head and she's not the one committing the murder, then we're not going to see who's murdering people. It was a lot. I couldn't deal. So we're going to move on to our next library book, which is We Used to Live Here. I stopped reading this one to get into Stephen Graham Jones, but this is where it's at. I only got to page, I want to say 51. Yep, page 51, and We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer or Kleiber. This one is very spooky. This one has all the makings of a really, really good spooky book. Again, I think I've already told you what this is about, but let me reiterate. Eve and her partner Charlie they renovate homes, they break them down, reimagine them into something better, change them, renovate, and then flip and sell. Right now, they're a little stuck. Their money is a little funny, so they have to be in this one for longer than they're used to, so about 6 months, maybe even to a year. And a family knocks on the door while Charlie is still at work, and Eve is in the house and says, hey, I used to live here. The dad says, hey, I used to live here. Can we come in and get like a family tour? She wants to say no, but for some reason she's not good at boundaries. She's not good at telling people no, so she finally says, yes, you could come in. The father goes around talking about the pieces of furniture, the pieces of molding, doorways, archways, chandeliers, everything that he remembers from when he lived there. And then their daughter disappears in the house. Um, and they decide to just let her stay there. First, they look for her, and it gets a little creepy. Then they decide to let her stay where she is while they wait for her to come out. Eve finds that to be a little off. Charlie finally comes home, and Charlie's like, "Girl, if you want me to tell them to leave, tell me to tell them to leave." And she doesn't do that either, which I would have. I'd have said, "Let's call the cops. Let's get the cops out here so you, your daughter, and your family can get the hell out of my house." But she doesn't do that. So that's where I am in the book, and I will come back possibly when I'm done with it. I think this one is going to be the winner out of the two, Stephen Graham Jones and Marcus Clear. Marcus Cleaver. I think Marcus Cleaver will be the winning one for me. So we'll see. So I have finally finished We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. I'm going to say Cleaver. And I'm going to give it 4 stars, like 3.75, 4 stars. It was really spooky. It was really ominous. It had the makings of a really, really great story. I enjoyed it. Only thing that was missing from this book, in my opinion, is more of the house changing. We got bits and pieces of it, and like it says in the book, it's just breadcrumbs. It's not enough. Like the house in the woods, I wanted more. Maps, I wanted more. Different timelines you kind of get throughout the story. This book was good. It just was missing more, just a little bit more. And this being his debut book, he did a great job. He had everybody talking for a long period of time about his work, and it is going to be turned into a movie, and I believe it's going to be starring what is her name? Blake Lively, I believe. That's what it said on the back of the book. But so he did a great job. He did an awesome job. Right out the gate, debut book is going to be turned into a movie. Great job. I just wish there was more, and I wonder how they're going to do the storytelling for this book, turning it into a movie, because everyone in this book tells Eve that something must be wrong with her mentally in order to believe that these things are true. So they're going to angle it the mental health, like schizophrenia, delusions, all of that. They're going to go that route because they did in the book. But I wonder how it's going to look on the screen. But anyway, this one is done. We're going to move on to, I think these might be the last 2 that I do in this video. But Beautiful Assassin 1 and Beautiful Assassin Part 2 of Revelations, and both by Stephanie Nicole Norris. Oop, almost dropped them. She is an indie author, and she's an indie author where I have read one of her series from top to, well, two series, but one has about 16 to 18 books in it, and I've read that one from top to bottom, didn't miss a book in there. But I've read 3 of her series. One I physically owned, and the other 2 I got from the library or listened to on Libby. So these were also from the library. And I believe she has one more book soon to come out to finish out this series, I believe. And she is an indie author. So you can sometimes get indie authors from your local libraries. You just have to ask for them a lot of the time, because this one wasn't in my local library, but in the system. So I got these. I think these are the last 2 for this video. So let's get to reading. Just know when you see this hoodie, I'm going through something. It's my emotional support hoodie. But anyway, it's time to wrap up this library video. I finished Beautiful Assassin and Beautiful Assassin Part 2 Revelations, and let me tell you what these were about. This is about a female assassin who was in with the group. She kind of fell in love with the main man of the group, Brian. Her name was Celine, and Celine fell in love with Brian, and they started sleeping with each other, having a relationship, but having a sexual relationship. But she realized she just wanted more, and he wasn't ready to commit. So she said, I'm just a girl. I need to find a man that wants to be with me the way I want to be with them. And she found him, and he gets unalived. He gets killed by the doctors who were supposed to work on him. He had a heart problem, and he went in for a heart operation or something like that. And he gets killed by the team of doctors that were supposed to work on him. And now she's hell-bent on finding out who set the hit, why, and often all the people who were involved. I gave both 3.5 because these are not romantic in the slightest, but the action is so good, even if sometimes unrealistic, right? But I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. There is a third one, so I didn't finish the series. There is a third one, but I could not get it from the library, so we are done with this video. I will read the third one on Kindle. But Stephanie Nicole Norris, this is I think the 5th series of hers that I'm reading. I finished, I believe I want to say 4, but prior to this, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think I finished 3 prior to this, and this will be the 4th whenever I do finish it. So she is an author to watch. She is an author to read, because not only does she do normal, regular black romance, but she does action. She does serial killing. She does put a hit on them. And I enjoyed it. So let's wrap up this video. I enjoyed all of the books that I got from the library. I still am in kind of a slump because I don't know what I want to read. I want to read, but it's not getting there for me. I'm not hitting it on the mark. And I'm still looking. But we read Our Wives Under the Sea, which was okay, 3.5. We read We Used to Live Here, again, a 3 for me. I DNF'd My Heart is a Chainsaw. It was crazy. I couldn't do it anymore. And then these two. So that is literally, I think 5 books. I don't know. I'm not good at math. But those are the books. And we'll try this again at another point in time when I have a million books from the library and I'm being overwhelmed by them. But let me know the last book you got from the library that was good, that you enjoyed, and you were happy you got it from the library. It might have even made you want to buy it physically to add to your collection. Let me know down in the comments. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me grow. And I think I want to grow. So I'm Sasha, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye.